Purpose of this exercise, do you consent to being interviewed and recorded?
Yes. I'm Tyler Jones, and I'm from Colorado. I grew up in Littleton. I've lived in Boulder about 16 years. And my profession is in academics. I'm a climate scientist, and my degree is in geochemistry. I work at the university here in Boulder, and specifically at the Institute of Arctic and Alpine Research in the Stable Isotope Lab. And basically what we do is we analyze greenhouse gases. For example, we collect these flasks from all over the world, tropical places, polar places, and we basically check what's happening in the atmosphere in terms of greenhouse gases. Something that I work on and a number of other people is ice cores, and so we go to Greenland, and we go to Antarctica, and we collect ice samples, and we can use those to look at climate. A typical day for me here at the lab is initially I'll come in and answer some emails and maybe finalize some thoughts from the day before, finish up some meetings. In the afternoons I do a lot of coding, so we take the data that we analyze in the lab and we look at what's happening in the data, what sort of climate patterns existed in the past and why were those happening. A little bit of time for me is spent down in the lab working on the instruments, measuring samples from wherever they might be, and getting that hard data that we use. In our lab, it turns out that the principal investigator, the professor, is male, the lab manager is male, and then a level down from that, the research associate, which is me right now, also male. But the lab technicians, there's 3 of them currently, 2 are female, 1 is male, and the grad students, 2 PhD students, 1 male, 1 female. We also have a lot of undergrads coming through the lab, and we just finished up with 5 undergrads. They did about a year-long internship, and 3 females and 2 males in that group. So has gender been an issue in the lab? I would say I can't ever think of a time where it was. We're pretty sensitive to that issue being at the university, living in Boulder. Right here at Instar, I haven't seen a skew in the amount of male or female employees at any point. It's pretty even for the most part. There's 5 males and 3 females right now for full-time employees, and if you include the undergrads, then it's dead even. It fluctuates through time a little bit. There can be more males or females depending what's going on. Would I rather work for a male or female boss? I think things going on in the US, the culture in the US, I prefer to work for a female boss, but I don't think that one or the other brings any specific set of skills that the other person can't. It's really just based on their experience, what they've learned, maybe their leadership skills, whatever the position entails. Either one can do it equally well, and I have no problem working for either. For me, it doesn't matter if it's male or female. They can both make a great leader, a great boss, a great principal investigator. I've worked for both male and female bosses, and it doesn't matter. If those people are qualified to do the job, then they do it really well, and it doesn't matter their gender whatsoever. This whole idea of there being less females in the higher positions of companies or politics or whatever is a real thing. You can see it in a lot of cases. I think this goes back many decades in time to this older idea that the men work and the women maybe stay at home and take care of the family, and that was definitely true of my grandparents, and you could see that those ideas were real maybe in the 50s, and they might have changed over time. I know it's more complicated than that, most likely, but I do think it's a holdover from another time. I haven't personally come across the glass ceiling, but I do know it exists. It probably actually does exist here at the university. I just haven't seen it. And outside of the university, I've seen it. My girlfriend and I, we have seen it at her workplace. It appears that the people at the higher positions are all male, and it's very hard for a female to break through. I've seen it in my dad's profession. He's in construction, and all throughout my childhood and being an adult, I've noticed that the leaders in that company or similar companies are all men. So it's there. It's definitely there. It's pervasive. I'm quite sure that I just don't see it as much here at the university.
Well, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it.